Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome to this week's Duchenne Method Mind Body Alignment Q&A, little class on the art of mind body alignment, mind body connection. And this is where every week we come together to explore a different topic in relationship to mind body alignment. And so, what I like to invite here is for you to join in if you'd like to. So, if you're here and you want to say good morning, hey, there's Savi. Hi, Savi. Good morning. Lovely to see you here. So if you're here and you want to say hello, please do so. It's always nice to know who's in the house. I can't always tell who's watching, but if you want to have a conversation or you want to share some insights about what I'll be sharing today, I invite you to do so. Write a little note in the comment. And today, my friends, I'm pretty excited because we continue our exploration around mind-body alignment. And in particular, today we are talking about balance, how mind-body alignment enhances your life as a way to balance ourselves, how can we become more aligned, more balanced in our lives. And I want to explore a few components of how to simply integrate tools that will help us find more balance in our lives. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the myth of balance, right? Because we're always talking about one of the words that's very common and frequently uses this idea of work-life balance. And in fact, I would prefer to think of it as life-work balance. So to kind of give it a little bit of a different twist so that we might look at our lives as something that is meant to be lived, to be experienced, to be shared, to enjoy, as opposed to always thinking about how work is the main priority in our lives. And so at this era, in this time of life, it's becoming more and more realistic to view life from a life-work balance so that we're not constantly putting work first, but rather to integrate the possibility of living a fuller life and being connected to our lives, to be enlivened, to be in relationship with life in the present moment. Hey, good morning. I think Miley is in the house. Lovely to see you. Thank you for being here. Hello, hello. So without any further ado, I want to just kind of explore that a little bit, because the mind-body connection, essentially, the fundamental concept is in understanding and achieving balance in one's life. And, balance in one's life looks different for many different people. And finding balance, it really refers to the intricate and bi-directional relationship between our mental and emotional states, as well as our physical health and our well-being. We have different components of life, right? We have different ways of thinking of mind-body balance, and they include your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your body. So if we're going to look at how the mind-body connection relates to finding balance, well, first of all, we want to look, I think, at our emotional balance. How are we emotionally in our lives? Are we easily tipped over? Are we fragile emotionally? And we can be fragile emotionally at different times of our lives, depending on what's going on in our lives. If we tend to nurture the negative perspective, the glass half empty perspective, that tends to increase our level of stress, anxiety, and anger. And of course, if we're experiencing anxiety and stress and anger, that's what is manifested through our bodies. So take a moment right now and think about even yesterday. Let's just deal with one day at a time. How was your day yesterday? Do a little review. Were you feeling rather balanced, meaning you weren't having any high highs or low lows? You weren't experiencing any type of headaches or muscle tension or digestive problems. When you experience those shifts in the body, it's usually related to being slightly off balance. And sometimes that can be in our emotional state, or what you're thinking about on that day, what's happening in your life that is causing you stress on that day. Now, conversely, of course, if you are able to, and we've been talking about this quite a bit in this work, if you can focus on the positive emotions, if you can focus on raising your level of energy, your vibrational frequency, right, and improve sensations of happiness, contentment. If you feel content in your life, well, what tends to happen is you have a higher level of energy in your body. And these are tools to use every single day in order to acquire balance. It doesn't mean that we're going to be in optimal balance all of the time. In fact, I think we're pretty much out of balance more than balance. And that might not be that important in this context. What's important is being able to identify, when are you off, when are you on, and what tools do you have to assist you in shifting your state. And one of the first ways that I always talk about in terms of shifting your state is to move. Movement is the key. And I think that some of you on this call are going to agree with that, right? Movement is the key. It helps to shift our mindset. It kind of rattles the cells in our brains and our nervous system and helps us to move forward, lighten our load, and increase adrenaline, dopamine, all of the hormones that help us to feel happier. So finding balance in in our emotional realm. And then how do we manage stress? So of course, stress is the prime example of how mind and body are connected. When you're feeling stress, you will feel physical health issues. That includes respiratory problems, cardiovascular issues, a weakened immune function, and digestive disorders. This is the basis. Stress really incites ill health within our body. So learning healthy, helpful stress management techniques such as mindfulness, coming back to your center. We've talked about this many times, to come back to your center, putting your hands on your heart, touching your body, getting yourself back to center. Mindfulness, meditation, of course, taking some time every morning for meditation or reflection. Can you reflect, contemplate, journal, take some time to go inward every single day? These are all relaxation exercise that will help you to find balance, to restructure the moment that you're going through, to assist you in feeling better. They're very simple tools, and the more you practice them, the easier they become. I've talked about already physical activity, and I can't emphasize it enough. Different types of physical activity. Physical activity, movement, is by far, in my experience and in my opinion, the best way to find balance in our lives. This is the great realigner. Movement. And it doesn't matter how big or how small your movement is. It is to be consistent. And today, I want to be very clear that movement should be practiced every single day. It's not a gym regimen where you go 5 days a week. That's good. Going to the gym 5 days a week, working out, taking class, running, skipping, biking. What I'm talking about is a different type of integration of movement that should occur on a daily basis. And that's where we go into maybe a more somatic approach to movement, where you are rolling on your foam foam roller. You are using your balls to de-stress, right? You're using balls to relax your upper shoulders, your mid back, your lower back. You can also do gentle stretching. That is movement. And we can do that every day very easily. 15 minutes. We all have 15 minutes to move every single day without having to go anywhere. Just laying on your floor and breathing as you oxygenate your system and you hydrate your connective tissue, right? The great fascial system, which is, in my experience, the most important organ of communication in your body because it goes everywhere. It connects to everything. And that's what helps us to find better balance in our mind, body, mind connection. If you are, sometimes when we have no creativity or no imagination, or we're just tired, we just want to lay on the couch for the whole day, which, by the way, can also be fine. It's just that if you lay on the couch for too long, you start to lose energy. And that's when symptoms of depression, symptoms of compression can arise. So we can go through those moments of not feeling like doing anything, but this is when the mind-body connection practice and balance kicks in, because you know yourself. You know how long you can stay on that couch, or when you get into a funk, right? Have any of you ever been in a funk before? Goodness knows I have. The singular most effective way to move out of your funk, of course, is to get into movement, physical activity. Of course, diet and nutrition. To eat as many alive foods as possible, and to start today. Drink more water. If you can, get your hands on some really high quality electrolytes so that you can start to lubricate your body by drinking. That's also very helpful for all of the systems of your body. And if you feel like you have any type of, you might wake up with a funk on any given day, go and drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. Give yourself a chance to reboot your system. Drink a glass of water, get outside. This morning it's very gray and raining in my part of the world. But the first thing I did is I had a glass of water. I have hot water with lemon and turmeric. And then I just went outside for about 10 minutes this morning to be in relationship with the light of day. That immediately assisted me in dropping into my body and to be in relationship with all that is around me. Very simple tools. And then I came in and I had some fruit. I eat fruit in the morning. This is when it works best for me. And I'm very mindful about the type of activities and the type of food that I take, especially first thing in the morning, because that dictates my day. It dictates my mood for the day. Even if I have a harder day than others, we all do, but it doesn't control me. So for me, that's kind of my way of being in balance, is to honor the small and consistent daily ritual to assist me in coming back to my center. And then, of course, I have my mindfulness and meditation practice, right? So to bring the focus continuously every day in wanting to acquire balance, we need to come back to the present moment, to tap into our heart source. And when you do that, you naturally calm down your nervous system. You help your blood pressure regulate itself. Your heart rate regulates itself. If you start like this every single morning, do you not think that you will have improved balance in your life? Of course, right? This is very easy to understand. The other piece around this is, how often do you actually do it? And that's why I come here every Monday at 11 a.m. with you, to take some time to connect and to be in a space together where you are reminded of very simple tools that go a very long way in finding more balance in our lives, in looking at our life-work relationship. and to slowly start to shift your mindset around how balance is possible in your life. Of course, the other important component of finding balance are your social connections. Do you have healthy social connections in your life? We are social creatures, and our relationships have a really profound impact on our mental and physical well being. It's important that we entertain positive social interactions in our lives, that we build strong networks of people around us that contribute to our emotional balance, reduces stress, and it even boosts physical health. Because when we're in happy relationship with others, when we're sharing, when we are in conversation, it really helps us to feel connected, to feel bonded, to feel like we belong, a very basic theme in everybody's life. Everybody wants to be connected. We want to be in relationship with one another. So you might want to explore your social connections a little bit today. Think about it. One of the things that I always remind myself of is the 5 closest people to you are you. The 5 closest people to you are you. There's a huge relationship to who you are based on who you surround yourself with. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Take a look today at the 5 closest people to you. Who do you think about all the time? Who do you reach out to all the time for support? And do a little bit of a check-in and see, are these 5 closest people to you the best 5 closest people to you? Meaning, are they supportive? Do they offer you a hand? Do they connect with you? Are they open-minded? Do they invite you to raise your level of consciousness through different types of dialogues, explorations? And if you can honestly take a look at that and see that that's not true for you at the moment, maybe that you do have people in your life that are not optimal, it's not about getting rid of them. It's about breathing them out a little bit so that you have more space in your immediate circle to breathe out people that may not be optimally connected to you at this time. This is a natural process in life. This is a natural balance of life. We change, we shift, we have different opinions, we evolve, we grow, we mature. And so therefore, it's normal that at some point we might expand our circle of closest people to us because we are raising our level of consciousness. And this is what I'm talking about with balance. Balance is not always being in a state of optimal alignment. Optimal alignment is being able to handle when we are out of balance, that we have the facility, the tools to deal with when we are out of balance, because that will happen rather frequently. I don't know about you, but it happens to me frequently. So I hope, excuse me, that this is making sense. Another piece of acquiring better balance in your life is to really focus on your sleep. Try to get a decent amount of sleep every night. One of the things that I discovered that I didn't know was that concentrated cherry juice is full of melatonin and really helps me when I'm having a hard time sleeping. I take about maybe 4 ounces of concentrated cherry juice, and it really helps me to sleep better. So if you're having trouble falling asleep, you might want to try a little bit of cherry juice before going to bed, and also shift your schedule a little bit. You might be able to go to bed a little bit earlier and to get up a little bit earlier, depending on what type of circadian rhythm you work with best. For some people, they truly are night owls. For me, I'm an early bird. And so I've been playing with that, the time I go to sleep at night and then the time I wake up in the morning, and following a more consistent rhythm. For example, not to eat anything at least 3 hours before going to bed. Food, alcohol, any type of ingestion 3 hours within bedtime can really mess up your sleep. So to be super mindful about developing better sleep patterns. And if you're someone who needs to nap, maybe napping throughout the day might also be effective. So we've looked at how mind-body connection relates to finding balance, but I want to talk about how balance looks differently for everyone. There's not a one size fits all. It's a deeply personal and ever evolving journey. Finding balance, acquiring balance is very personal. And what constitutes balance for one person might resemble chaos for another. So I wanted to unravel the myth of finding perfect balance, because for a lot of us, we've been conditioned. What constitutes a healthy, balanced day? It might be that you wake up at a certain time, you go to work, you work for maybe 8 hours a day at a job, you come back home, you might go to the gym after work, or you might come home because you're exhausted. You might watch a little bit of TV or Netflix, and then you have dinner, and then you go to bed, and you begin all over again. I think that that's kind of archaic at this time in our lives. It's not really how we're living. And for many of you who work with me, you're artists. So your life is very different than that habitual thinking process of what's a 9 to 5. And even if you did have a 9 to 5, is that truly a balanced life? So, very importantly, to look at the reality of what balance might look like in your life. Well, what I want to first offer is that balance is unique to you. It's an individual value to you. What are your core values? What matters most to you? Is it your career? Is it success? Is it quality time with your family, self-care? Is it community involvement? These are really important questions to ask yourself, because if you are in touch with your values, then it will be easier for you to come into relationship with living a more balanced life. And I tell this to my team all the time. They're very hardworking, and a lot of the time they would end up working extra on the weekends. And my conversation with them is always, take the weekend off. Be with your family during the weekend. We need some time to clear out our minds, to be creative, because if you can get out of a work mode and change your environment, even for a short amount of time, even within 2 days, it actually helps you to be more productive when you're at work. So remember that when you get stuck into the deep focus of work. I know I get stuck there quite a bit because I'm writing content, right? I'm developing content, I'm doing creative things, but I also get stuck into my own patterns. And so I remember, right, it's time to go out for a walk. It's time for me to do a little bit of drawing every single day. My schedule is set up so that I leave the house at a certain time and I go move. Right? I am a big mover. So I move 7 days a week. That is super important for me. And that's how I maintain a little bit more balance, or a relationship with balance. Now, depending on which life stage you are at, you and I might be at different life stages, right? So depending how old you are, your life might revolve around academics. You might have a nonprofit that you're trying to build, and that requires a lot of energy and focus. You might be a parent taking care of your children. So depending on the life stage you're in, your level of balance will differ. We're not all at the same place. And so that's really important to remember when you start to get down on yourself because you might not be doing enough, or because you feel like, what is this life work balance thing? I should be doing better. I should be further along. Well, maybe, and usually maybe not. We're very hard on ourselves, and we have very high expectations, unrealistic expectations. So my invitation to you is to take a seat, slow down, be in the moment, remind yourself of your breath, bring yourself back to center. Take a moment, get out of this work environment or whatever situation you're finding yourself in so that you might replenish, even if it's just a 5, 10, 15-minute walk or going out in daylight to help you recenter. Right? So these 5-minute movement, the somatic movement, rolling down, rolling up, relaxing your shoulders, looking left to right, massaging your jaw, all of these small movements throughout your day when you're starting to feel crunchy, you feel stressed, or you feel like you have too much on your plate, help you to return to a place of center and health. So that's your life stage, depending on where you're at. Now, there's also something called personality traits, right? So for some, example, introverts may need more downtime than extroverts, for example. Adventure seekers might thrive on constant change, but others will find comfort in routine. So you see how balance shows up very differently depending on your personality trait. If you're an introvert, you know yourself, you know that you need more time to slow down, to be alone, or at the end of the day, to have some private time, maybe in the morning. If you're more of an adventure seeker, you're someone who's very socially connected, you want to be around more people. Well, that changes your life balance, life work balance, because you're someone who really needs to be around people to help them increase their level of energy. So your personality trait is going to have a lot to do with how you find balance in your life. And that's really important because the better you get to know yourself, the more you will find places of balance. And you're not going to compare yourself with others, right? The big word, the big C word of our times, because of technology, because of social media, we are constantly comparing ourselves, constantly. This happens all of the time. So to step away from the comparison trap and to notice, what are your personality traits? What are your values? What do you value in life? What do you want to do more of? If you focus on that, you will naturally find more balance for you at this stage in your life. Cultural factors. Cultural factors play a big part in shaping our perceptions of what balance means. What's considered balance in one culture may seem very different and actually imbalanced in another. One of my clients just came back from spending her summer in France. And she was sharing with me how amazing the French are and how different life is over there and how much she loves. She goes there about maybe 3 or 4 months out of the year. And it gives her a chance to reset herself. Every time she comes back to New York, which is where I am, she's like, oh my God, like there, it's such a different way of being, walking through life. And so cultural norms will affect our perception of what life, work, or just simply balance is all about. Sabi wrote, recently I breathed out a person. Thank you, Nelson. Recently, I breathed out a person out as I realized that I felt depleted from my energy and it was not as healthy as I hoped. Breathing that person out helped me to focus more and gather energy. Beautiful. Exactly. Well done, Sabi. Thank you. So you're paying attention to your balance. You're paying attention to your rhythms. You're paying attention to who you need around you to assist you in feeling more balanced because you've done the work of reviewing your values, your personality traits, what's most important to you. And also, as I was saying, your cultural norms. Some people may not value balance as much as you do at this time of your life. So to be super mindful, to your point, Sabi, energy, people who need a lot of energy around you, sometimes you feel like they might be sucking energy out of you. Be mindful of that. That is a signal. It doesn't mean that this person is bad necessarily. It's just that you have different values, you have different appreciations for what balance might look like in your life. This is why the mindfulness approach and coming back to our center, dropping into your body several times per day, no matter where you find yourself, so that you might have that tool, that instant connection. And can I tell you, your life will exponentially increase in the level of happiness, because you will not be dependent on another person's energy, another person's opinion of you. You will be fully aware of your energetic field, and you can feel it when it's off. And that's life. It doesn't have to be more than that, right? Sometimes we're off. Sometimes we feel our energy is off. We know ourselves. We also might be off, and we need to stay away from people. So to really develop the subtleties, right, of energetic sensation, vibrational frequency around you, what feels good to you, what doesn't feel good to you in your body, that's super important. And also to be super mindful to not strive to be like anyone else, or to be like, or to look to find someone else's balance rhythm. Don't look for an external one size fits all version of balance, because that will definitely lead you to burnout. You'll be dissatisfied. And also, you'll feel a sense of failure, because if you're comparing yourself and if you're trying to acquire somebody else's level of balance, it won't work. It's not your natural energy. It doesn't always mix and match. It might sometimes, but again, we go back to this concept of mindful awareness, embodiment and present awareness, right? Something that I'm very committed to. The more embodied I feel, the more aware I am, the more precise my language. The more I get to feel what the other person is saying, I grow my heart center of empathy. I really listen actively to the other person. And in so doing, I embrace my own unique balance, my relationship to what I feel I need. These are super important life skills that will serve you for your entire life. If you're someone who tends to be a people pleaser, if you have a hard time saying no, if you feel inferior for whatever reason, you feel that most people are better than you are, you're going to be a little bit out of balance because you're judging yourself. And these things that we are sharing here, coming on here every week, listening to these different concepts of mind body alignment, will help you in developing a closer, more mindful, more loving relationship with yourself. We all go through these, right? We all feel insecure at times. So the practice here is to go back and to tap into what feels like balance to you. And it might take a moment for you to develop the skill. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Embrace your unique balance. Increase your level of self-awareness. Become more flexible with yourself when it comes to your self-talk and identifying what do you need in your life at this moment. Develop a relationship with setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries are so important. And the more you're in touch with yourself, the more you're in balance with yourself, the healthier you become about establishing healthy boundaries with others. And finally, the one thing that has really helped me, that I hope might help you, is to really develop a relationship with self-compassion. It's so important to be able to just acknowledge where we are at any given time. Maybe you're going through, excuse me, maybe you're going through a difficult time in your life right now. Maybe you're not feeling great. Take the time to be in that space. Take a sit back and be with yourself. The more you are in relationship and in touch with how you're feeling, the more in balance you will be in your life. Being in balance is not having everything figured out and being at the top of your game. Being in balance is knowing, listening, feeling when you need to slow down. That's balance. Being flexible with your schedule, being flexible with your inner dialogue, to be able to shift and to give yourself a little bit of a boost on any given day, because that's what you need. To watch the messages in your head so that you're not continually criticizing yourself for doing something wrong. You could have been better. Practice the art of self-compassion. It's a really incredible tool. It will change your life. And you can find a lot of my videos on my YouTube channel around that, building an open heart of compassion, connecting with people that support us in this way. So I want to just honor you, Sabi, for breathing out that person recently, to making a little bit more space, because that's also difficult to do, right? Breathing out people is not that easy. That's you setting boundaries, which is super healthy. So I just want to honor you for doing that, Sabi. And so this is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure you can ask right now, or you can leave a comment on my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, I invite you to subscribe. If you know anyone who might benefit from this work, who might need to hear that they are loved and appreciated, that they are perfect exactly as they are in this moment, if this work might be supportive for them, please invite them to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to visit my website, artofalignmentacademy.com. There are more resources there. If you're in New York City and you want a mind-body alignment session, you can find me. I have an office in Manhattan. You can come and visit me. And if you need any support and you just want to reach out to me, you can also let your friends know. I offer 30-minute complimentary kind of get acquainted calls, so people can reach out to me and just ask me questions, because we're not always clear about what this mind-body connection is all about. It's a very large topic, isn't it? It includes a lot of components, a lot of topics. So if you know of anyone who might benefit from this work, please invite them to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I thank you for being with me today. Thank you for your support. Thank you, Savi. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And I will see you next week. Same place, same time, still talking about balance, how to increase the quality of balance in our lives. Next week, 11 a.m. on this channel. Thank you for being here. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week. Take care, everyone.